Looks reasonable. Looks reasonable. You hear that, Father Greg?
I've never looked reasonable in my life. How dare you? Besmirch the good name of reason.
I don't get that looks reasonable from you very often.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I've never once has the channel ever looked reasonable. It's looked like I've had a nightclub since about 2018.
2018? Do you know when this channel started, Father
When
Greg?
did these lights go on?
What's happening, party people? Welcome to Punchboard Party. My name is Daniel. This is Father Greg, and this is Pierce. Pierce is here to give us his top 10 board games of all time ever. So if you watch the channel, party people, you know that about once a month we have one of our friends come onto the channel and share their top 10 board games of all time. And the reason why we do this is because we believe that just board games are meant to be played no matter what they are, because all board games deserve a spot and deserve some love. To highlight.
What about those top 10 hated games?
Listen, we also reserve the right to hate whatever we want.
Isle of Cats.
Like, listen, you guys can stand in solidarity over there and leave me alone. Party people, please comment down below what games you're enjoying right now, what are in your top 10 games, also what you think Pierce might like based on what he talks about in this list. So Pierce, tell us how you approached making your top 10 board game list.
Well, it was a bit difficult for me because although I think of myself as quite a gamer, I don't know, I have a very wide array of games in that, I play board games, which I love. I play lots of video games. I play, just so many different types of games. I wanted games that I had played more than once was kind of one of my rules. But I mean,
you're on the wrong channel for that.
Every rule has an exception. So there's one game on here that I've only played once. But you know what? I played it and I absolutely loved it.
Great.
And I can't wait to play it again. So,
great.
It's on the list. And I mean, that's the thing. I want to pick games that right now, if I'm going to play a game, I want to say, yeah, I'll play that game. Sure. We can play that game right now. I think that's kind of the way that I approached making my list. One of the caveats kind of that I had to include was who I'm playing the game with. Because a lot of times, some of the games that I might like,
right,
who I'm playing with might not like as much. And so I enjoy having fun with other people over playing a game that I want to play.
Yes.
And so that definitely had an influence on my list.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. There has been games that have left my collection solely because Sarah didn't like them.
Right.
And then I was like, why did I get rid of that? That was an awesome game. Okay, so Pierce, hit us with your 10th favorite board game of all time.
10th favorite board game. This is probably going to be the most controversial game on my list.
Nice. We're going to give you hell.
But I had to include it. And the name of that game is Monopoly.
What? Wow!
He did it!
Hot damn!
He did it! He broke the cardinal rule!
Wait.
And that's what we're all about, is honoring what people love in this hobby. And if you love Monopoly, then darn tootin'. Well, I'm not going to say I love Monopoly, but...
No, so Monopoly is on my list simply for just pure nostalgia. And that's why it had to be on my list. Is I grew up playing Monopoly, and honestly, that was pretty much one of the only games that I played with my friends or family when I was young. And so, it just had to be on the list. I actually thought about putting Risk on here as well, but I was like, no, it didn't. It didn't beat Monopoly because Monopoly made it kind of beat it out.
That's surprising for me, because I used to be Pierce's youth group leader. And so Pierce and Risk are synonymous to me from those days. Mm-hmm. So that's surprising. I was like, Risk is going to make it as one of these nostalgia hits.
Yeah.
But Monopoly beats it out. All right. Well.
So when I first started going through the list, and I mean, I rated these way too high right off the hop. But I was like, I put them first. I put Monopoly and then I put Risk. And when I started ranking things, I was like 4 and 5. And then as I was going through, I was like, nah, there's no way that these are making this that high. Right. And like I said, Monopoly is included strictly for that nostalgia factor. I think I probably could have put a different game, but it felt like it needed to be there.
Sure.
Now, do you play Monopoly with the official rules of Monopoly, because I know there's like a million different variants of like
That's
free
right.
parking or like
No
you
matter-
auction off every single tile that's not bought.
If you go to a different house, you're going to play a different game of Monopoly.
That's right.
That's one of the great things about Monopoly, though, is it's a different
There is
game.
something interesting about that. That's cool that a game has had that much of a life of its own. Mm-hmm. That you play it at, like, any given house is going to give you any given rule set.
Right.
It can be whatever you want, really, and I mean, just the enjoyment that I've had over the years. That's what makes it number 10.
A little love for Monopoly. Sure, whatever.
I don't know. Let's jump right into number 9.
Go
and
for
that's
it.
going to be a game that Dan introduced me to.
Okay. I like this distinction.
It's a Wonderful World.
Oh,
Nice.
see,
Good
we're fanboys of It's a Wonderful World
That's
at
right.
Punchboard Party. This is good.
It's a good game, and the only thing that I have a gripe about it is I don't know if anyone else has tried playing solo play, but I felt stupid trying to play solo play because I could not hit those marks.
Yeah, they're tough. Yeah. They're tough. Yeah, especially at the gold. Like, there's like bronze, silver, and gold or whatever.
Yeah.
The bronze is like doable for sure.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, gold is, that's tough.
It's wow. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, when Dan first introduced me to this game, I looked at the board and I said, "What? 4 turns? We're
Right.
gonna have 4 turns."
Yeah.
Especially for a card drafting game. Yeah.
Yes.
Not a
And
lot.
I mean, it works great. It's you're
as
building
you
that
go.
engine, and
You're building that
and
engine.
it just feels so good when all those parts sync together.
I still I cannot get my ratio of projects I'm working on to cards I'm discarding correct.
You gotta
Like,
be willing to recycle. Just throw them in the
I'm
trash. man.
I'm always working on way too much.
That's right.
The first game that I played, way too much. I think I had like 6 cards left over on the last turn.
Okay.
And just not a single resource on them, and they were all like 6 resource cards.
Right, sure,
It's like
sure.
never making this. And then after that, it really is about managing your resources and what you want to build your engine into, what sort of pieces you're going after. I don't know. I've come to a point where I can pretty consistently not take any extra cards,
Okay.
which I don't know, feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, whenever
Not something I'm going to aspire to.
Number 8. And number 8 is you guys actually talked about this somewhat recently on the
Okay.
channel, and I actually played it at
This guy
your
watches
house.
our channel.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the first guy on the top 10 list.
No! Daniel watches the channel, Colin watches the channel, Tim watches the channel. All these.
Am I the only one who does it?
Yes,
Okay. never mind.
100%.
But I'm actually interested because you guys mentioned another game that you said is just better version of this.
Okay.
But number 8 is Scotland Yard.
Oh, nice.
I love Scotland Yard.
Yeah,
It-
Father Greg
it's
loves
good.
Scotland here.
It's good. I mean, you can play it with any number of players that kind of fit into that rule set, and it's just good. Like, I've played as mixed Mr. X with new players, and honestly, I helped them the whole way through. I enjoy playing the cooperative game with them.
We had a board game day here, and Pierce got into a game of Scotland Yard, and I came over to the table, and I was like, "Oh, like who's Mr. X?" Like I wasn't able to tell because everyone was talking about, "Okay, well you could do this, and you could go over here. Maybe there's this," and I was like, and Pierce was like, "Oh, me." I'm like, "Okay." Sure. He just got caught up in the puzzle of it all.
No, that's a good one. I enjoy Scotland Yard. I love Scotland Yard. I love the whole of the hidden movement genre. Like, basically, I think I've played every hidden movement except for Fury of Dracula. It's like the
Your
only-
top 100 has like 5 to 7
That's right.
head movement games.
Like, I love them all. And so if I hear of yes, Scotland Yard is the game that got me excited about hidden movement games.
One of the great things that I love about Scotland Yard still is the resource management of the tickets. And I have definitely had players just run out of taxi tickets. They're dead in the water, and then as playing Mr. X, you just laugh because, well, one less detective to find me. So yeah, it's good. It's good. The hidden movement with the extra ones, it's good. Number 7. Dan, you're gonna like this one as well.
Okay, I'm into it.
It's a game that you introduced me to. It's a game that I have bought. I have some I have a couple gripes about it, but
But it's number 7.
but you know what?
Pierce is the most critical top 10 person.
Hey, you know what? I'm the most critical person ever. So if
It's like,
something
this-
could be
this is
number
the
1,
seventh best
I'll still
game.
complain about it.
This is the 7th best game, man. But I'll tell you, I got a bone to pick with this.
A lot of problems with this game.
So number 7 is Dune Imperium.
Yes.
And the bone that I have to pick with it
Let me
is
hear
it
it.
says that you can play it with 2 people, and I think that House Hagal deck is terrible. It's terrible.
Listen. Out of Autonoma players, solo mode kind of situations that you have to deal with, it's one of the better out there. It's a pretty streamlined. I like House of Gaul and regular Dune Imperium for what it is. Am I always searching for a third player? Yes. Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
And for that reason, that's why I didn't rate it higher.
Yeah.
Is because I don't like the 2-player experience, and so if I always have to get that third player, especially I'm a father, so I got 2 kids, and a lot of the games that I end up playing is with my wife after the kids are in bed, and so finding a 2-player game that is maybe a little bit more crunchy. I like Dune. I like it.
The problem with House of Gaul is that it does simulate another player well, in that agents will go different spaces and block you out, and it'll take guild tokens from you and this kind of thing. So it does all the stuff, but there's just something about a luck of the draw screwing you out of a space
Yep.
versus another player screwing you out. Like, it just hits different.
For sure.
Where it's like, that could have been anything.
Yeah.
Like, that was my one. But if another player sees what I'm doing and goes, oh, I could use that space too, then that feels better to me, because it's like, you saw what I was doing, you went there, okay,
Right.
good play.
Yep.
But when House of Gaul just barfs up the one card that's going to screw up your whole mega turn, it feels bad.
It does.
For sure. For sure. No, I get you.
Yeah. So, and I mean, for that reason, that's why I didn't make it higher. I had it higher.
7, hot dog.
It did. So number 6. Number 6 is Above and Below.
Whoa.
Hot dog.
And
Whoa.
this is a game that I picked. One of the reasons because my wife loves to play this game.
Okay.
She loves just the dungeoneering aspect of it, and
Sure.
taking your troops underground and putting them in a little scenario and then picking a decision. And one of the things that I feel about it is it's pretty easy to know which decisions you want to make.
I didn't feel that way.
I think it is.
Dan is also a moron. Just to the table here.
I mean, I won't deny it.
I hear you. But yeah, sometimes you don't have those other things, or like you don't have the resources to get to that optimal goal. But yes,
Yeah.
I think oftentimes
Yes.
you do realize which one is a better choice to go for.
And I think I don't know how many times you've played it. Probably only once.
Yeah.
I've played it, I don't know, over 10 times, I'd say. And you really learn to know how many people you want to take in. And I find that having 3 or 4 adventures, depending on the amount of lanterns that you have, which is a resource that you use to accomplish those goals when you're in the Underdark? I don't remember what it's called exactly,
Right.
but
The below.
yeah, the below, exactly. The number of lanterns, it's, having a set amount is really key. But at the same time, you take guys with 8 lanterns down, and then you get a scenario where you only need...
Right.
It's like, well, that was a waste. But, yeah, so I think I prefer near and far, actually. But my wife prefers Above and Below, so we get that to the table way more often.
Okay.
And I mean,
I was gonna
I
ask
like
about
everyone
near and
having
far.
a good time.
That's right.
And everyone having a good time is more important than one person having a good time.
Everyone having a party.
Exactly.
Go.
It's got to be a party.
I need to meet your wife, because I am one of the only people, I think, on this earth who prefers Above and Below to near and
Okay,
far.
yeah, that's a surprise.
And
yeah.
like I have stood by this. I think it's a better game. I think it is fun. It tells a story. It's not, if you want like a deep, very involved lore, okay, Above and Below doesn't give that. But if you're looking for a little kind of light story, you go on a little adventure, you meet a little random dude in the sewer, and you have to figure out if you can trust him or not. Just like those little tiny snippets. They're not always near and far. They may be coalesce together. There's kind of more of a running story, whereas Above and Below, you're just kind of getting random stories that are just sort of thrown at you. It's like, hey, this time you encounter a guy in a cave who needs some rope. Next time you encounter a merchant who's selling you silk. It's more just random, whereas in Near and Far, you hurt a guy and then like he shows up 3 rounds later and now he wants revenge or something like that, right? Yeah, I love Above and Below.
Yeah. So that one just gets the table more often, and that's why it made it over Near and Far. And I felt having two of what I would classify the same game, because they really are pretty similar.
Anyway.
I felt like having two of the same game, it didn't really make sense. Number 5, and this is the game that I was mentioning before we started, Dan, about a game that I have only played once.
Okay.
But it made the list, and that is Tiletum.
Yeah!
Ooh. I played that game. And I loved it. It was great. It was absolutely great. I don't think there was anything that I didn't like about it. Even coming in as the first player, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on, I think you called it the county fair or whatever in a previous video.
Yeah.
I focused on that. And you know what? I came in second place. I think I was 3 points behind you.
Yeah.
And, it's easy. I find it fairly easy to pick up. I don't know. I may be above average on learning games quickly.
For sure you are, but it has a nice entry point. And yeah, if you're approaching this game for the first time, it is just like follow where the fairs are going to be. Mm-hmm. Make sure you have those scoring conditions lined up each round, and then build some other things around there, and you're going to do pretty good. Yeah. Just use that as your core, and away you go. Yeah, and I love that game just provides you with a little bit of not a handhold, but
just a little bit of a guide,
just some guidance.
Lighthouse, just kind of leads you on.
Yes. Oh man, I can't say enough good things about Tiletum.
No, it's a great game.
Yeah. So amazing, and each time I've played, there's been just more to discover in terms of contracts as a core strategy is viable. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, neat. Really focusing on the people and the shields and you can make so many things work for you. And then also it really benefits you to have a smattering of kind of things going on. But that core decision of just picking that dice. Mm-hmm. Ooh, which one?
I think when we played, it was a little while ago that we played, but I think when we played, I was not picking first ever. Because there's a rotating start position, right?
the turn order has to do with the king's track or whatever. Right?
Yep.
And that track is annoying. When you first play, a lot of first time players are just like, whatever, I'll take the minus points. I'm not dealing with that nonsense. Yep. Because it gives you a cool opportunity that if you move up that track enough, you always stay where you get if you get positive on the track. If you get negative on the track, then you move up to 0. So it doesn't feel so bad to get negative because you get reset again.
That's right.
And it feels like a lot of work to move up that track. But then eventually you could potentially get 7 points each round or whatever the case may be, So it does benefit. But people usually stay away from it. Yeah. But that does determine turn order.
Yeah, every single time I came in last. Even when I was tied with someone, it always ended up being that I was
because if they jump on top of you.
Yeah. And so every single turn I was last. But you know what? I still continued to ignore that track, and I still came in second.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's something to be said. You can ignore it, but maybe not too much.
Well, it does give you lots of flexibility in that at any time you can trade 2 resources for another resource. Mm-hmm. When you're drafting dice, you can pay coins to move the dice to another space.
Right.
So that it gets you the action that you want to get. There's lots of flexibility.
Even if you're only stuck with 1 dice, if you have resources, you can make stuff happen.
This game kind of says, "Hey, have fun. Don't be glum. Have some fun."
Yeah, and you know what? That's what it is. It's a fun game.
Tiletum.
Yeah, it's a fun game, and
it is.
I'd be willing to play it right now. That's the thing.
Well, I guess
that's why I made it on the list.
I guess we will.
Number 4. This is another low play count game. But Age of Innovation.
Yes!
That was a great game. I played it twice with you, and I think you said that's how many times you played it
That's all I've played, yeah. I played a solo game by myself, but...
do solo games really count?
They do a punch more party.
In terms of multiplayer games, does that count as a play when you're doing a solo play?
It counts for Father Dan.
That's right.
Counts for Father Greg.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The great thing about Age of Innovation, right? So it is through and through a city building game, right? So you're just setting up buildings, you're connecting them, you're really trying to make networks to make the most victory points of your networks or scoring conditions that are available to you each round. So in a particular round, when I build kind of the first initial building, I might not get points because that's not scoring in the first round. But in the first round, I want to do that so then in the second round, I can build this next thing. But in the second round, I will get points for building the initial building. So that's really where the game comes to life, is in, hey, now you're going to get points for that thing, but it's not necessarily convenient for you to do that right now. So you got to kind of weigh those options. And then there's all sorts of other opportunities for scoring and for bonuses and for advancements and all sorts of things. So you're really feeling pulled in lots of different directions as you're trying to leverage your unique player power combo that you start with at the beginning of the game, which is another kind of big allure that the game has.
Yeah, and I really like that kind of differing setup. The thing that I love about that power is
Nothing says power like little purple circles.
The thing that I love about it is you can discard some of your power to move it up the advancement track. And in one of the games that we played, I discarded so much power.
Yep.
And I don't know, the whole game I felt like I didn't have enough power, but it seemed like the perfect time to do it every time, and it ended up working out.
You were riding the end of a lightning bolt, man.
Yeah,
it gets dangerous.
It was.
Because the power structure, so it's a resource, but it's annoying because you have to move, there's 3 bowls, and you have to move, the only power you can use is the power that gets to the 3rd bowl, but you can't move power into the 3rd bowl until the 1st bowl is empty. So you got to empty out the 1st bowl, get everything in the 2nd bowl, and then you can start moving things in the 3rd bowl. Except for if you trash a power, then you can move another power into the 3rd bowl. And so sometimes you just got to make that call. Need some power now, baby.
I think that game I ended the game with only 1 power token left. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
and power is powerful. It gets you all sorts of these. There's these actions at the bottom of the board that are once a round actions, and they cost power to use them. And then you put a little shield over them to say that nobody else can use them that round. But they're very, they're fought over.
Yeah, they're important.
And so turn order in this game is so important because you're like, okay, I need this resource in order to be ready to get that tile. And then, but Pierce is ready to get that tile, but he also needs to do this. But which one is he going to do first? Oh, he got the tile. You know?
That happened twice.
Listen, it's frustrating.
That was an interesting game.
So highly interactive, so crunchy, brain burnery, but also immersive. I feel like this is the most thematic Euro game I've ever played. In terms of, yes, it's just number crunching, but I still feel like I'm a weird mole man setting up my civilization amongst the swamps.
Or a desert lizard.
That's right. Anyway.
Yeah,
nice.
It very, like you said, very crunchy, but fun.
Yeah, exhausted by the
yes.
game. And long games.
Yeah.
Long plays, 3 to 4 hours.
So number 3 on my list now. This is a bit of I have an interesting sort of relationship with this game because I haven't actually finished it, but I absolutely love it. So this
is a game you have not even played.
It's a legacy game. No, it's a legacy game, and I haven't gotten to the end of the legacy. Well, I'll just say it. It's Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Okay.
I love the game. I have actually played through the first half twice.
Okay.
With 2 different groups. I am nervous about getting it to the table right now because I'm scared that we're going to lose. I'm so certain that we're going to lose that I don't want to play it. But I love it so much that I want to play it still.
Sure.
But
you're going to lose, but that's okay.
I know.
Don't worry about it. Every time you lose, the CIA comes in and they just throw supplies at you.
Yeah.
Everything's better. It's just...
But
sometimes you need to lose so that the world realizes that they're in enough danger, right? It's like you keep saving the virus, if you keep saving everything, they're like, it's fine. Why do we need to fund this this like extra governmental organization. They'll be okay on their own, and
That's right.
you know.
Yeah, the only gripe that I have with it
Another gripe.
it's not the game though. This time, when I play it, I end up quarterbacking,
Right.
and I mean that's just how it is.
You're a quarterbacker.
So
That's who you are, and we love you for it.
but yeah, and that's why I'm so nervous to get it back to the table is because I'm like, we're gonna lose and it's gonna be all my fault.
This is where a solo play might come in handy.
And you know what? I've been thinking about it. I have actually been thinking about doing a solo play or just a 2-person play with my wife.
Yeah,
and
that's right. A lot of people have had really great experiences.
we haven't lost yet. That's the thing. We haven't lost a single one. And
Oh yeah, I think you have to lose this.
Yes,
You
you
do.
have to. There's
And-
going to be.
and that's why I know that I'm gonna get it to the table at some point, and we're gonna lose, and then we're just gonna trudge through. It's going through that to get to the other side that I'm like, ugh, I want to play it, but maybe I could play a different game that I can win.
Pierce is good at winning games.
That's true, but there's something even fun about. Like I think the beauty of Pandemic Legacy is it tells a story.
Yeah.
And so it's like you need to lose like Beijing or whatever. Like sometimes like
Right.
when you lose, all of a sudden like one city gets just like wiped out, or like one city becomes just this awful hellscape, and you have to blockade all the entrances into it and like let nobody in. And like so even when you lose it, like it's not just what I like about Pandemic Legacy is it's not. Some games are just like, you lose, keep playing until you beat this level.
Right.
Yep.
Whereas Pandemic Legacy says, you play once in June, if you lose, you play another time in June. If you lose that, you move on to July anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like you're moving on regardless. Like if you lose every game, you're going to play 24 games. If you win every game, you're going to play 12. So you're going to play somewhere between 12 to 24.
Right.
I'd be impressed if anyone has only played 12 games.
It's like, I don't know that it's possible. Maybe it is. I don't know. But
I feel like it has to be.
I've heard 16 as an average.
Yeah.
I think so.
Which I feel like I'm going to lose the next 4, and then we're going to go to the end. But who knows? So let's jump on to number 2, and I can guarantee that Dan knew this was coming. Terraforming Mars.
There you go. There's a big old box sitting on my
Yeah.
table upstairs right now.
Yeah.
A big old box.
Yeah, I got the big box. And you know what? There's actually a Kickstarter recently that I was also in on that, and the box is getting bigger.
Oh my gosh.
What are they doing?
They're bringing in some more maps, and then
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it's another expansion. Hey, you know what?
I'm never ever going to invest in OG Terraforming Mars in any capacity unless it comes with a card facelift. Like, unless the cards get a facelift, I'm not investing in OG Terraforming Mars. I'm sorry. Just not.
I don't know. Some of the
I'm
cards.
gonna get you one of those. That one clip of like the guys pondering and then like corporate meetings. I'm just gonna blow it up like 800% and put it on like your bedroom wall.
There's a dog. There's a dog that's so stupid. It's just like Mary's dog. Not our Mary, but it's like they had a friend who had a dog and they just took a picture of it.
That's
it's so dumb.
And you know what? One of the just pictures of a tree. Just a picture of a tree.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But you know what? Trees are important when you're terraforming. You gotta get oxygen somehow.
No, well, of course. But anyway, they proved all of our points
That's right.
when they did Ares Expedition, and they had nice uniform art style. Mm-hmm. Everything is fine. Yes, it's just a tree or it's a space station or whatever, but it's all just nice. It's simple, but it's nice.
Fair enough.
That's my gripe.
But
I have a gripe.
yeah, there you go. But it made it to my top 2. No, the thing that I love about Terraforming Mars is actually the expansions. One of my favorite expansions. Oh, I'm having. It's Prelude. I love having those extra bonuses coming at the start.
I've heard time and again that Terraforming Mars without Prelude isn't Terraforming Mars, right? Like people say it's a necessary
Preload
expansion
is
kind
the
of thing.
necessary expansion, I think.
Yeah. And then just playing with the alternate boards, having that difference, that that rotating game board, different milestones, different awards, different map, and it just feels like a different game. So many times you can play it, and it's feels different every single time. You know, you got a different corporation, you got a different map, you got different awards and such. So it's great. I love it. I have only ever played it and not, I would say, thoroughly enjoyed it one time, and that's simply because I felt like it was just drawing out, and that wasn't the game's fault. It was my fault because I was trying to score more points instead of finishing the game.
Sure.
And it ended up making me lose. It made me lose.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is, again, you know, this is a game that I play with my wife.
Yep.
She beats me.
Yeah.
And as silly as it sounds, I like games that I can lose at too.
Well,
because
yeah.
when you just win all the time, it's not as fun.
There's a certain challenge in knowing that there's something to this game that,
Yeah. So, yeah, it's great. Going on to my number one.
Okay, number one.
This is it.
Woo!
And I think this is going to be kind of, like, based on my list so far, I think this is just going to be out of nowhere.
Okay.
But
based on your list,
don't worry, it's not Monopoly Duel or something. It's not there. It's not there.
Monopoly Go.
I'm ready for anything. I think the world is my oyster right now.
This has been a really good list, though.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
aside from Monopoly and whatever, but like we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
There's been far worse lists on this.
That's right. A call.
Hey, you know what? Call them like card games.
Okay, what's this number one?
So number one is Splendor.
Nice.
What?
This is epic. We started with Monopoly, and then it was Splendor, and in the middle we had Tiletum and Terraforming Mars. Like
An age of innovation,
That's
like
right.
pandemic legacy, like your list is a gamer list, right? Like you're
right.
a gamer's gamer, right?
That's right.
And then you just come out with
Splendor.
amazing.
I love it. I want
You
to
know
hear
what?
more.
I love Splendor. I love
great.
Splendor.
I've played it so many times. This is probably my most played game. I probably got Splendor to the table more times than Monopoly.
Stop playing Monopoly. Stop talking about Monopoly.
I haven't played Monopoly in a while, actually. But
For good reason.
I don't care.
But Splendor is great, and again, this is one of the games that I play primarily with my wife. Usually we play two people. I've played Splendor Duel, and I don't know, Splendor Duel is great, and I think it's great, but I don't think I'll get it just because I already have Splendor. And playing two-player Splendor feels so good already.
Splendor plays great at 2, so it is interesting that they did a duel. Now, Splendor Duel is arguable. A lot of people are saying maybe I prefer this, so it's worth continuing to play it just to see where it lands, and it is a great two-player experience, but it's not a necessary two-player experience.
The best part about it, you know, I've had so many really long, heavy, crunchy games on my list, and Splendor is kind of that game that I get to the table. It takes, honestly, probably 20-30 minutes to play.
Yep.
And you can play like 4 games of it.
I
love it.
It's a palate cleanser, man.
It is.
So good.
It really is. It's just, you know what? I don't have time for a big game tonight.
Yeah.
Let's play Splendor.
Yeah.
And every single time I take it to the table, love it.
Yeah, that's
Never
right.
had a bad experience with it. And, you know, I have little gripes with pretty much everything on my list. But Splendor,
no gripes.
nothing.
Seamless.
Nothing.
Look, it's number 1. No gripes.
There you go. And
It's almost like it's your number 1 game of all time.
Exactly. And so, I don't know, it's just good. The way it plays, you can, and I've played it so many times that I've tried a lot of different strategies. You know, I've tried going for the high expensive cards early on. Right. I've tried just, building an engine where I just pick up cards every single turn because I have so many cards already. And there's just so many different ways to kind of strategize around it. And the player interaction, although you're not interacting with players, you know, you still have that, oh, well, I was going to go for that card. Or you can tell based on what they're getting that, oh, I'm going to block them by reserving that card because I still need that gold token, and that gold token is going to get me my other card.
Now, I'm making this statement without any great reflection, so this might not be true. But Splendor has given me one of the most, tense experiences I've had in the hobby. Mm-hmm. That race feeling that this game provides, where you're racing to a certain number of victory points, and every turn people are doing something to get closer and closer to that mark. you feel you're getting closer to it, but you're seeing other people get closer to it. Splendor seems to distill that feeling just most succinctly than any other board game that I've played. Now, again, I could probably reflect more and find some games that have hit it more, but in that playtime, in that, like, it really just solidifies that. Oh, I didn't do it. Or, yes!
There was a time when me and Father Dan played Splendor a lot. Like, we played it, a good 10 times. And of the people, now this is a limited subset, but of the people who, like, record plays and, like, would upload them to BGG had, like, a list of, like, the most played games. And now, Splendor's a quick game, and obviously you can get through it a lot. But, like, even years after Splendor was published, like, even years later...
Yes.
Splendor would consistently be the most played game on BGG. Like, if you looked at just sorted by plays, I don't know where it is now, but, like, it for years, it was, like, I don't know, 2017, 2018, like, you could look and it was, like, Splendor.
Yeah.
Like, so it does have that, there's something good about it.
But do you know what's a better game? Camelot.
That's true. That's a good point.
So, party people, there we have it. That is Pierce's top 10 board games of all time ever. What a list. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of Pierce's list. Suggest any games you think he might like based on the games that he chose to be on his list. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And until next time, party people.
Have the best day.
Ha ha!